Welcome back to Glamour Unfiltered, hosted by me, Josh Smith. And today we're joined by the queen of drama, Elisabeth Moss.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm all right, thank you.
Good. The Invisible Man. Guys, get down to that cinema because it is pulsatingly good.
Thanks.
Tense AF as well. But what I love about it is at the centre of this story, the power of this amazing, resilient woman. I want to know, what have you learned about your own strength as a woman?
One of the things that I found really interesting when I did sort of some research for this role was the sort of discovering my own biases that I perhaps had held against women in abusive relationships or victims of domestic violence or abuse. We tend to sort of go, why doesn't she get out of that? What's wrong with her? Why is she still with that guy? My discovery that what that really is, what that relationship really is, and what it really feels like to be that victim was really eye-opening, and I felt like I sort of let go of some of my own biases, you know?
What do you feel like you let go of in that experience?
Well, the idea is that there's nothing to do with your strength or intelligence as a woman. If you're in that situation, it's nothing to do with that. And I think we tend to go, oh, well, why are they, what a choice they're making. Why are they making that choice? It's not a choice. And it's not their fault. I think that discovery was very eye-opening for me. You know, I think one of the things that makes it so hard for women or men in these situations is not to think they can talk about it. And there isn't a safe place for them to go where they're going to be judged. So I would hope that that is something that after you're entertained, after you scream, and after you eat your popcorn and you flies everywhere, I hope that afterwards you go, you know what, I'm going to have a chat with that person and see if there's anything that they need to talk about. Yeah. You know?
Have you learnt the power of talking in your own life?
Yeah, I mean, I believe in communication. I believe it's sort of something that really will fix most things if you just kind of have a conversation about something and listening. I think listening's important. We so often are we just like the sound of our own voices, you know? And it's important to listen to other people's viewpoints.
I think about this all the time because we spend so much time in our society today, like we're overwhelmed with information. And everyone's just waiting for their opportunity to talk.
Yeah, right.
And actually, we're never actually listening to each other.
It's true. And I find if I'm ever confused by a situation or I don't understand something or don't understand someone, the best thing to do is just go, just you tell me what's going on, you know? And listen to them and you'll learn something.
Yeah. How's your relationship with yourself changed?
I think the older you get, the more confident you just kind of become in who you are. And also understanding what you need and what you need to be asking for if that's what you need. And, you know, I mean, I'm a big Oprah fan and she's my guru, and I do think there's a lot that I've sort of learned from a lot of what she's talked about, but one of the things is kind of that idea of believing your instincts, trusting your gut, you know, and believing what someone's telling you about them. And I think that's all stuff that you just kind of learn. There's always plenty to learn, there's always more, and there's always sort of a place to grow to, I think. I don't know when this became like an Oprah.
I know, but I'm really into it.
I know. It's like a Super Soul Sunday here.
Oh my God.
I love it.
Because I was just wondering, because you were saying about learning to trust your instincts and believing in your instincts.
Yeah.
Is there a time that you've leaned in to your gut and it's paid off for you?
Yeah, I would say there's a lot. And whether it's personal relationships or work even, you know, when you have a feeling and you're watching something, or as a producer, you're watching something and you're going, this doesn't work. Or you're reading a script and this doesn't work, this doesn't make sense to me. And trusting that instinct, allowing yourself to be like, okay with the fact that maybe it's not working yet. Yeah. You know, I think is something I do every day.
That's such a great thing you can sit here and say that you have that belief in that gut.
I mean, you have to remind yourself. I'm not like perfect at it. You do have to kind of go, well, remember the thing about the thing you're supposed to do.
Because you have gone through your career and achieved so much. I mean, that mantelpiece must be like chock-a-block by now.
It's cluttered.
It's just cluttered.
It's cluttered. It just doesn't look good. It's just cluttered. There's like books and journals, and it's just like, and then it's like just a mess.
And just the odd Golden Globe.
Just the odd Golden Globe.
But if you could sit yourself down, the you at the beginning of your career, given everything you've learned from these amazing roles you've played, what advice would you want to give the you If you could sit her here right now, what would you want to say to her?
I suppose I would say the thing that I think a lot of us would say to their younger selves, which is going to be okay. Don't worry about it. It's going to be all right. I think when you're younger and you're coming up, you worry about this thing and that thing, and did I get that job, and why didn't I say that, and oh, I look this way or that way, and I think eventually you go, well, these things work out for a reason, and follow your instincts again and your heart, and it will eventually lead you the right way. So I think I would tell myself, it's going to be all right.
Because you were just mentioning the idea about your relationship, yourself and looks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How has that changed for you as well, this relationship? Because we talked a lot about your inner self.
Yeah.
What about your outer self? How is that?
I mean, that just goes hand in hand. I think the more confident you are about your inner self and the more you know yourself, the more confident you are about your outer self. I've become somebody who, wants to look good, wants to feel good, but it's never been the thing that has been most important to me. That's the thing. I've always played characters that aren't necessarily looking their best. I really lean into some of that stuff. I'm the one who's like, can we look worse somehow? Like if I come into work and I have clear eyes, like blue eyes, because I've somehow magically gotten a night's, it's a disaster. The makeup artist is like, well, I don't know what to do with this. Like I can see your eyeballs, and that's not good. So for me, I've used that a lot. So I've never prioritized that in my career, and I suppose not in my personal life either very much.
That's kind of amazing. Your career has given you that gift almost.
I know, it really is.
Because not many people get that in their lives.
I know. It's really nice. It's nice to have to go into work and not worry about the bags under your eyes. They actually work for you. You're like, this is great.
Because I was literally earlier, I was like, how bad are the bags today?
Oh, that mine gets so bad. Thank God I have wonderful makeup artist, Daniel Martin, who takes care of it.
Takes care of it.
But sometimes there's nothing one can do, especially early in the morning. So there's a lot of eye masks or just ice.
Yes.
I'm like Joan Crawford now in the morning with just bucket of ice on my face.
Oh my God, no, you got to put it in the sink and just dunk your head in.
I don't think I don't.
Oh, yeah, you do that.
Yeah.
Started doing that a couple of weeks ago. It's really brought me to life.
Honestly, it's the only thing that really gets it down. It's just ice. Like all that fancy stuff, but honestly, you just need ice.
Yeah, we just need God's given ice is what we need.
Thank
Blessed
you.
be.
Praise be.
Praise be. Praise be. I mean, I use that in my day-to-day life all the time.
Fantastic.
I'm like, blessed be if something goes right.
I love it
And I'm
so
like,
much.
when I'm desperate for something to happen, I'm like, may the Lord open.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm like, come on. Do you not do it in your own life?
I do, which is super sad. It's really sad.
You're taking that work home with you.
I really am. It's bad when you start quoting yourself. It's not good. Again, Joan Crawford.
Joan Crawford.
Really real.
You're really becoming a diva.
Really is. Really am.
When I was watching this, I was thinking about, so there's the toxic masculine relationship in the center of it. Then there's the bigger toxic masculine society that she's in as well.
Yeah.
What has that been like in your own life and these whole like masculine pressures on society?
I mean, I've been lucky in the sense of I've worked with some really, really great men.
Yeah.
And I've had good experiences. But at the same time, I am a 37-year-old woman, so it's not like I've been living under a rock. I have had experiences with that masculine energy.
Yeah.
People keep asking, what was the research you did? And I was like, I lived for 37 years as a woman.
Yeah.
So I've been working on this for a while.
Yeah.
It's interesting, actually, talking to people, men and women, about relationships and gaslighting, and you see this expression go across people's faces and this sort of cloud over their eyes, because I think that is something that in varying degrees we've all experienced a version of that, whether it's at work or in a toxic friendship or in a relationship. We've all kind of had that moment where someone didn't believe us or we weren't able to be our full selves, you know.
Because as well, I think you're such an amazing, empowering role model for women and men, genderless. But you, with your work, you really do bring the plight of women to the fore, which is so incredible. And it actually makes us reflect on the way that we treat women in society, the way women act in society. For you as a woman in 2020, what do you think is the most pressing issue for you?
For me, what strikes me to my core is autonomy over your body, and really, it's something that is very, very important to me. And the idea that anyone would decide what a woman does with their body, other than the woman herself, is just preposterous to me. And so that's something I think that's very, very, very important.
Yeah. But also like that idea of choice as well, because there's not enough respect in society for women making their own choices.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
Is just insane.
A choice about how you want to live your life, and choice about who you want to love, and choice about it's you know what we're supposed to stand for, especially as a country of America. You know, it's kind of that's kind of what we were built on.
When you think about the idea of choice and having the right of your own lives,
Yeah.
and then you deal with this like everyday sexism, because I'll be sat in situations and I was like, whoa, that is actually a very sexist thing to say. How do you shut that down when you come across it?
Do you find you're more aware of it now than you were? That's what I find. I'm more aware of it. I think even I have opened my eyes to like, oh, that's not, you can't say that. I find me and my girlfriends, we're much more aware of that than we used to be, which I think is fantastic and really, really important. Even in everyday life, you go, oh, that man's talking to me in a certain way. That's actually not right. And that's, I think, very important for everyone to kind of keep doing.
Would there be something that's like a trigger for you that you would hear quite regularly and you'd be like, whoa?
I don't like to be talked down to. And I think sometimes men, even if they don't realize it, do it. You know, they don't even realize it, that there's sort of this little, treating someone like a little girl thing that men can do. And I don't think they're even aware of it sometimes.
You love an intense role.
I do.
You do. You like to deep dive right on it.
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Because I was thinking when I was watching this, how on earth do you actually look after your own mental well-being in those situations?
A little bit of that. I don't know. I don't really consider it, and it is taxing sometimes, but I don't really consider it something that is work. I love what I do. I don't feel like, oh my God, that really happened and now I need to go escape from it. Like, I know that it's not real. And so I don't get into my head about it, I guess.
Is it kind of therapeutic in a way as well?
Yeah, it definitely is, for sure. I've watched scenes that I've done and been like, I remember that day. Or like, I know what that scene's about. Like, it definitely is a way to exercise your emotions. In acting, when I'm doing a role, I have the capability of being vulnerable a lot of the time and being open and being quote unquote weaker or whatever it is. And so I can explore that in a safe space, you know?
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
So great meeting you.
So lovely.